This phrase explains a lot. Those things get filled in for quite a long time, and it's been 3 years since Ukraine's president Yanukovych was violently destroying or dismantling some civic protests which were happening during that time. So this civic energy was like collecting. This government is very inefficient in its policies. So people are disappointed, people are poor, and people are angry because there is no justice in the country. The courts are controlled and corrupt, and police arrests and beats people for nothing, and people are told like, okay, in few hours you will pay $500 and you're free. If you're not, criminal case is open and you will have to pay $5,000. If you're not, criminal case is sent to court and you will have to pay $50,000, otherwise you go to prison, whenever you're guilty or not. That's true that a new generation is coming. A new generation is coming not only... The new generation is coming generally in politics, because Ukrainian opposition is also inefficient as well. We have it, we support it, but we are not satisfied with it. There are people of all times who have been in power, in government, and who have proven that they are unsuccessful. So, if there is a chance to change the government, the people who are in power are so hard-minded. The president had been to prison 2 times. He has a criminal brain. What he gets, he never gives back. And I don't think he will let to change the government. The only thing to change this government is to change it together with the president. And this might happen only if the revolution proceeds. Or if, I do hope, when we will have the presidential elections of 2015. Which is a big challenge, because this guy will have another year to smash the protest, to arrest the most active people for anything, for drugs, for child porn on the computer, which they will definitely find at every computer of every activist, whatever. So this is the situation that when police, and I must admit that the budgets for the police, for special security force, for general prosecutor's office have been risen 2- or 3-fold since Yanukovych became president of Ukraine. So the budgets for those repressive machine members are hugely improved in comparison for any other ministry, and it could even be compared to the Ministry of Education, for instance, with the 3 million of schoolboys. Searching for an analog. Imagine you're on the street at night. A thug is coming and taking a phone from you. And you're saying, I'm going to peacefully stand here and ask you, could you please give my phone back? That's Ukrainian situation, and it's scary. It's hard to add up anything to that. Those guys will not go, those guys will not give up, those guys will not step back, those guys are not going to change anything. Those guys think they have government, they will wait, they will simulate, they might punish some lower level executives, but they are not going to go. There must be a moment when millions of people will just stop them from executing state power. Just physically stop, meaning not to let them enter the government, not to let them enter the presidential administration, meaning stopping the tax office so the taxes cannot be collected, and start the civic economy where people will have it handled by themselves. And then they will simply leave in this way. And then there is a very vulnerable moment, because legal situation is as following, that there is almost no legal way to let them go. They have organized, they control the parliament because many of the opposition members betrayed. So they organized situation when there was a motion of confidence against the government, and the parliament voted for the government. So according to the constitution, this government is not to be dismissed for another year. Although people want, different politicians want it like this. The constitutional court helped president to become super president. So they restored the old constitution, which was prior to the Orange Revolution, and now we have super presidential republic where president can dismiss the government at any moment, and the impeachment mechanism doesn't exist. The parliament didn't implement the law on impeachment. So I must say that we will have to re-establish the state, to re-establish the constitution, like United States of America. When they emerged, somebody was to make the first step and say, okay, this is our Declaration of Independence. There was nothing before that. So that's one of the ways. The second way that might there be, but it is only putting off the situation, frankly speaking, is the presidential elections of 2015. It will be the same situation. They will falsify the elections, and we will have to go and protest to protect the results and to push them hardly in order to have re-elections and to have big civic monitoring. This is a nightmare. This is something none of European states has experienced in modern times. I'd never ever wish it to happen to France, to Germany, to Italy, to Spain. You never ever had such challenges to your democracies. And support us. It's the toughest challenge the democracy can ever have. And if you will let this guy arrest us, beat us, kill us, you will betray democracy, and it will come for you at some point. Media are present, journalists are present, but it's a tragic situation to my mind. It looks like that. Balance of dictator and people who struggle for freedom is not a balance. It's a mix in the head. You can always hire a good professional which would put the worst thing into the sweetest lie. And it is journalists to speak about real things, and I do understand that value-based journalism is something a little bit aside of BBC journalism standards like balance and everything. But we need this value-based journalism which sees what's inside. That's not just a nice liar on one side and maybe a not too well speaking protesters, and picture isn't black and white. Okay, Ukraine's protest is also diverse, and you will find many things that maybe could be not liked in Europe. You will find some very radical people who would like to fight with police. Yes, you will find them there, because it's the whole society that rebels against Yanukovych. There are many journalists who are making a broadcast, and they're going to spend a night at Maidan, because night is always the time when something bad happens. Usually there is Ukrainian saying that in the early morning the devils disappear. So since the sun is rising, whatever might happen, and all the bad things that happened to Maidan actually happened when it was dark. People's dignity.